Welcome back, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back, IWC. It's me. It's me. It's the GOC, coming to you live to tape 25 feet below the surface of the earth. This is part 2 of what we have going on here today at Chaos Corner on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. I just did an unbelievable review of last night's go-home show for AEW Dynamite and the AEW Continental Classic leading into this weekend's pay-per-view, World's End. So go back and check that out. I covered everything from pillar to post and coast to coast on last night's Dynamite, from the Classic to all the chaos that went on last night, and that is pun intended, because it was all over the place. Some stories made sense, some didn't, leading into the big event for World's End this weekend. That's why I'm here. Check out part 1 from Dynamite, the go-home show, and of course the Continental Classic. I'm repeating myself, but that's what I do. And stay here now for the preview of AEW World's End this Saturday Night Live. Follow me on all social media platforms. You know what they are. At Big Daddy GOC on X, aka Twitter, and the GOC stands for the Guardian of Chaos. On Instagram, it's the Guardian of Chaos. On Facebook, there's 2 accounts. J Brony, just like it sounds for all you jabronis, and Prodigio Fidelis El Guardian. Follow me on Gitter, Gab, Truth Social, and Rumble, because I cover it all in the IWC. I can't thank you guys enough for being here. I really do appreciate it. Much love and respect. Stay safe. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and to a Happy New Year. And we're going to be back here on Chaos Corner. So kick back, tell your friends, call somebody, like, subscribe, leave a comment, share this out, and meet me back here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. The preview of AEW World's End. Don't you dare miss it. It's a lot of fun here in Chaos Corner. All right, we're off all the other social media platforms. The greetings and salutations are out of the fucking way right now. Let's get down to brass tacks. Go back out and check AEW Dynamite, the go-home show. I just posted it. It's about an hour, a little less than an hour, chock full of everything you want to know going into World's End. And of course, everything that happened last night and potentially what's coming out of it. I'm going to give you a preview, some opinions, some news and notes, some late-breaking news here on a Thursday afternoon. We talked about everything that went on last night. This Saturday night, as I said, World's End. Long Island, New York. It's going to be, in my opinion, a pretty solid show. Again, I'm going to say this and repeat it again because you know that's what I do on this channel. I have amnesia and deja vu at the same time. I think I've forgotten this before. So a lot of it was on the first show. This is the preview. That was the review. This is what I see coming out of World's End. No particular order, but we're going to start off with 0 Hour. Right? They're starting off with Hook versus Wheeler Yuta. And FTW rules for the FTW Championship, which I get means something in history to ECW and to Taz and all the ilk. I love them. Come on, man. But does it really mean anything and necessary for another fucking title? I've been saying this from day one. Unnecessary. I know it's got history and lineage, but it was never officially recognized. And when it was just an ECW. Can I just tell it like it is? Because I'll say that to say this, because I fucking tell it like it is. And I apologize for cussing because I know I don't have to. And with that being said, let me cover myself here because we all fall short every day. A shout out to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And that's a shoot, if you guys know me and the type of person that I am. So forgive me for that. It just happens sometimes. It's a part of me at times, and it's not always right. Stand by while I get a little beverage. I just did an hour show a half an hour ago. An hour ago. All right, guys. Thanks for the silent ear. Hopefully, we don't have to hear from that bitch. She interrupted the first show. Technology, my ass. It's turning blue. It's turning white. Who knows who's listening? Sugar-free, honey lemon? Come on, man. Bear with me. So here we go. We're starting off 0 hour with a 20-man battle royale, which we used to call a battle royal back in my day, for the TNT title shot anytime, anywhere. Now, they haven't really announced any of the participants. I'm sure it'll come out on Rampage or whatever, leading into this or on social media. I'm thinking everybody from the Kid Andretti to maybe Taven, Bennett, since they're all going to be there anyway, maybe the Acclaimed, members of the Kingdom, Best Friends, Top Flight, Ferris Bueller, McFly. I mean, it could be anybody, maybe even Jay White. I mean, who knows? Because there's guys and superstars and gals and talent that are not on the pay-per-view. Number one, Bryan Danielson. Don't say because of injury, because that's a bunch of horse shit. It's because I believe on January 4th, Danielson faces Okada. Konnichiwa, bitches. Origato-san from Chaos-san. At New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom. I believe that's January 4th, and I believe Danielson's wrestling Okada. So he will not be at World's End. I guess that eliminates him from being the devil. I don't believe FTR is going to be at World's End, who was just voted Tag Team of the Year. And there's others. I don't believe, I'm not sure, if Takeshita, one of the best grapplers, is on the card. Or Powerhouse Hobbs. So you wonder where everybody's going to be thrown in and when it's going to be one big mosh pit at World's End. So that's the 20-man battle royale. Again, anytime, anywhere, TNT. It's kind of like a Money in the Bank. As I suck on the honey lemon halls. Sugar-free, as I said. So we don't know who the participants are going to be. It could be anyone. It could be AR Fox. It could be the Guns. It could be anybody. There's a list of talent. We don't know who's going to be in the Battle Royal, but they'll get a shot at the TNT title either way. I already talked about the FTW rules and the FTW Championship. This is what I believe is for 0 hour. I don't mind Battle Royals. They're a little bit of a clusterfuck, but they're traditional. So that's the 0 hour show for Saturday's World's End. 20-man Battle Royal, TNT title, Hook Yuta, FTW, for what it's worth. The main show for World's End, and again, there's no particular order, and I'm not sure if between here on Thursday, tomorrow Friday, leading into Saturday's event in Long Island, if there's going to be anything added to this. So let me say that to say this. Card subject to change here at Chaos Corner. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans. No super chats, no paywall, no Patreon, no Zelle, no Venmo, PayPal, although I probably should. I'm here out of motivation and passion. It's free, it's you, and it's me. And all you sitting in the back that watch and try to use this for content and for information and for whatever your dastardly fucking plans are. I know that you know. You're watching. And I said it in part one. In order to get respect, you have to start with respecting yourself. Once you do that, you open other people's minds to respecting you. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. The main show, no particular order. I believe there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Could be 8 matches on the main card. 2 on 0 hour, maybe 1 added to 0 hour, who knows. They usually go 10 or 11 matches on the AEW pay-per-views. I will say you usually get your money's worth on the pay-per-views. Definitely, I'll say that. Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm with Luther the Butler. Again, I like the gimmick. It's a little wonky, getting a little crazy, but talent-wise and what she's done to transform herself, put it all together with a emotional investment and storytelling. Not a lot of in-ring, but she has the ring psychology. Tony Storm against Ricola. I believe she might have been the first AEW Women's World Championship or World Champion at one time in AEW, if I know my facts. So she's back from Stardom, and it's going to be Tony Storm against Riho. Now, I know she's gaining momentum. A lot of people like her. I'm going to say no fucking way Tony Storm loses the title. So my prediction here on the preview show for World's End, Timeless Tony Storm retains the title. Let's move on and move forward and start building this women's division. All these ladies that are, in their early 20s, working hard, talented, learning, greener than grass. When you have a lot of other ladies on standby, I just don't get it, Tony. It is what it is. We go into a match that 6 months ago, a year ago, would have been unbelievable. Former tag team partners, world tag team champions in AEW, turned on each other with, he was big fuck, Rick Ross, the boss. And then, of course, Swerve with Hangman Page and all that bloodiness. Out of nowhere, after he loses the triple threat in the Continental Classic, although he did not get pinned, he's the fastest, hottest, rising young star in AEW. And I said it on the first part here on Dynamite, the go-home show. Swerve Strickland against Limitless, the big man Keith Lee, who was unbelievable in NXT and WWE. Got ruined, came here, got sick, whatever reasons, been lost in the shuffle. Had this much momentum, an inch worth, and now has got nothing on a guy who should be a beast. Got to have him with a manager, not let him speak. He's not good on the mic. I already told you my history with being on the same event with everybody. I'm going to repeat it again, from Strickland to Darby Allin to Zack Sabre to Matt Riddle to Keith Lee and everybody in between. I'm just telling you, for my home company at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. It's on YouTube. It's here on the channel. Check it out. But this, again, 6 months ago would have worked. There's no heat now. They're coming in cold. I get it's unfinished business. But right after losing, it's like you didn't even care you lost the triple threat in the Classic. I'm just saying my impressions. I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly here. I'm just telling you. Thrown right into the cold, no longer heat storyline with Keith Lee, who, when's the last time he's wrestled in the ring? Just wonder, and I hope it comes off as a great match, because they're two unbelievable talents. Strickland, as I said, the fastest growing star. Keith Lee was an unbelievable big man. Let's hope you can recapture it. I'm going with, and listen, I could be, if I'm wrong, I'll eat crow. There's no fucking way you let Keith Lee, again, I apologize for the cussing, and after I said our words, I get it. I'm not trying to be hypocritical. Although I guess we fall short every day, I guess I can be hypocritical at times. I'll admit it, I'll say it. I'll give it to Swerve Strickland without a doubt. If not, you would really lose momentum right now. Keith Lee hasn't done anything. Why give it to him? I'll take Swerve Strickland. We go to the whole story of the Redeemer, the cock, if you will, storyline-wise anyway, against Andrade El Idolo. No me joda maricón, muévete, culo, pendejo, de nada. I'm kidding, man. It's a joke. It's a work. It's a kayfabe. You see, I speak like 3 or 4 different languages. What do you want me to tell you? I have a hard enough time speaking English. Andrade, I'm sure CJ will be somewhere around. Hey, listen, she's easy on the eyes. I get it. But whenever you get your wife involved in the business, it's always risky. Your girl, your wife, isn't that the old rule in the world of traditional pro wrestling? Hey, listen, I get it. Power couple, Seth and Becky, and this one, and we can go on and on. Cole and Britt Baker, I know. Beth Phoenix and Copeland, I get it. You don't have to continue to sell me. Charlotte and El Idolo. Anyway, against Miro, the former Rusev Day, who in real life is CJ's his wife. We all know that. You guys know this. I'm not telling you nothing you don't know. Miro hasn't been in the ring all that often, although he's a beast. He's aggressive. As a big man, I wish they would use him more. Sometimes he acts like he doesn't want to be there. Who knows? His wife is there now, so I'm sure he's going to stay and he's happy. El Idolo, since he's put on the size, he's one of the best luchadors and grapplers in the company right now. Now, would I be surprised either way? I think CJ gets involved. Maybe she goes back to Miro and they fuck over El Idolo. Or does CJ stay true to her client and Andrade wins? In my opinion, he's the better grappler. I'm going with Andrade over Miro. But I wouldn't be surprised if Miro got the victory. I'm not trying to cover all bases here. He's done nothing. He's on no roll. There's a story to it, but he's on no roll. So I'm going to take Andrade. Julia Hart and Abaddon for the TBS Championship. Again, I already told you my feelings about Julia's come a long way. Nice looking lady, good athletes. They all work hard. I'll say that for them. Anyone who steps into the ring, male or female, I respect you, manager, valet, ring announcer, because at least you've been in the fucking ring. So I'll respect you for going through the training and get in there. Got to. How could you not? Abaddon, again, she may be an improved worker. And again, I just don't like the gimmick. It doesn't work or sell for me when you come up with these kind of gimmicks. I know it's storytelling. I know it's entertainment. I get it, but make it believable. So to me, she's been on quite a roll. I believe she's only got one loss. Some sort of interference, perhaps. Abaddon has no chance, and I'll give it to Julia Hart to retain the TBS Championship. Then we have an 8-man tag team that was thrown together as a clusterfuck. And I know there's inner storylines. And again, I'm saying fuck in every other word. I truly do apologize for that. Because again, that's what's held me back in going further in my career. And I'm going to be honest about it. Maybe people didn't always like the gruff approach and sometimes how the gimmick, who was partly me, comes off. And with the cussing, which I could stop if someone would pay me. But it may have cost me in the past, I'll be honest. I had big connections at one time, everything from the Yes Network to Sirius XM to my own platform. So it is what it is. Been in movies, had a chance to go bigger, major networks, working with major entertainers from Hollywood. But, and captured their attention, actually blew them away. Yeah, Lionsgate and so on and so forth. But that's another story for another time. Didn't work out. Maybe that's why. Maybe too honest. Maybe too much of the character mixed in with the persona. Hey, I tell it like it is, right? So this was thrown together as we saw last night in Dynamite, where the Callis family tried to get Guevara, who they had heel months back for nothing. Now they turned them face. Le Champion, the Wizard, Ocho, Y2J comes out of nowhere. Because we know Omega's hurt, allegedly. So shout out to Omega if it's true. So they're going to team Jericho and Guevara back together after their run and the embarrassments and all the different humiliations of what they've done to each other. Kind of thrown together to set off the Golden Jets, in my opinion. Just my opinion. I didn't like it. And then Starks and Big Bill, and you can't teach that. I know I said that a couple of times in the earlier show. It's soft. S-A-W-F-T. It's a work, man. Absolute. A heck of an athlete, but looking a little lost lately. And how could you say that, Chaos? They're the tag team champions. I'm just giving you my opinion how they were thrown together. I like the tag team. It could work. So then they come out and attack Jericho and Guevara, the Spanish God, which you know it would have been Jericho and Omega if it wasn't unforeseen circumstances. And then Sting and Darby Allin come out of nowhere, and they attack the World Tag Team Champions, Big Bill and Ricky Starks. So it was a big mosh pit and pure chaos, and I'll say it again, and it's intended, of all these guys, 10 guys, 9, 10 guys, whatever it is, to where this has been thrown in with minimal storyline. Again, we see a lot of people that aren't around and competing in the tag team division, especially FTR, the Acclaimed, whoever else you want to say, for whatever reason. And thank God for some of it, I guess. So that leads us into Sammy Guevara, back with Jericho, Sting and Darby Allin, who again, Evolve 95 Super Show on YouTube. Go check it out with Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Check it out. Darby Allin jumping off the backboard, the top of the board, onto several guys on the gym floor. They're going to take on the tag team champions, Big Bill, Ricky Starks, and part of the Callis family, Powerhouse Hobbs, big, black, and jacked as compared to the GOC, who's wide, whacked, and jacked. Does that even make sense? Whacked, white, and jacked? I don't know. Whatever I said in the first episode was better. Hobbs is a great guy. I told the story on the first. Go back and check out the first episode here for the Dynamite Go Home into World's End. I talk about meetings with and running into Willie Powerhouse Hobbs. Great guy. I'm just throwing in some entertainment here to make this a preview show. And they're along with Kyle Fletcher. Now, where is Takeshita? Takeshita. The biggest, perhaps best Japanese wrestler right now in the world. That's just my opinion. Why is Takeshita not involved in this match? Will he be in the Battle Royal? I find that I would have had Starks, Hobbs, Takeshita instead of Fletcher. But Fletcher's a great grappler. Maybe they want him to match up with and work and shine. Have Darby and Jericho and those guys shine with Fletcher working in the ring. Takeshita could have done the same fucking thing. So I'm not sure where he's going to be for World's End, but that's what they have written down here, and that's what was reported. Listen, in my opinion, Sting and Darby do not lose. It's Sting's retirement coming up in less than a month into 2024, a couple days into 2024, and then in March, I believe, Sting is not losing any way, anyhow in this. That's for sure. You think they're going to let Jericho lose? Listen, I understand that Starks and Big Bill are the world champions in the Callis family, and there's going to be outside interference, I'm sure. I'm going with Jericho, Guevara, Sting, and Darby Allin in the 8-man tag team match at World's End, which was thrown together. So, let me get that out. It's going to be all over the place. Hard match to call, hard match to follow. And I'm sure out of this will come a world tag team match, because who knows what's happening with FTR. Voted the #1 tag team in the world. I just don't know where they're going to fit into this after this 8-man match. No titles on the line. I'm not happy about that. So this match is what it is. Then we have, after last night's break apart and brawl backstage between Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. Former friends, now foes. Who knows if they'll be friends again. The Heat, everyone's favorite parent, everyone's dad, Christian Cage, along with Mama Wayne and the young Nick Wayne. Don't know where Luchasaurus is. I said it in part 1. This ought to be one heck of a match put on by 2 pros, 2 Hall of Famers, 2 guys that know how to get it done in the ring and on the mic. Christian Cage doing some of his best work. Although we got to wrap up the storyline and get it going, I'm talking about with the Waynes, Luchasaurus. I'm not talking about Copeland and Cage. I go on with that for a little while and bring it into Revolution or Full Gear or whatever's coming up next. That's just my opinion of what I do with Copeland and Cage. I continue to play this story out. So it'll be interesting to see. And I see that my boy Emilio has made an appearance down here. He goes into business for himself. He's huge. Maine Coon. He's down here. So hopefully he'll come on up and go into business for himself so you guys can see my boy and Maine Coon. Anyway, we get back to Christian and Adam Copeland. It's been a solid storyline. We know the whole history, and I'm repeating it again. This could be match of the night, in my opinion. And I think I'm going to go with, if you want to continue this storyline, I think you go with Christian Cage in some sort of fuck finish. That's my opinion. Now, if Copeland wins, I get it. But listen, it's going to be too much outside distraction. That's one thing you're going to get here. Since there were no interferences in the Continental Classic, we haven't had a lot of run-ins until the mosh last night with all the tag teams. I think you're going to get some interference and run-ins throughout this whole show. Just my opinion, my viewpoint. You know, my years of researching, scouting, so on and so forth. Over 50 years in this industry and over 30 years active. I don't have to get on with the kudos. If you're here, you guys know about me. It's not about me. It's about running over the show. But I try to make it relatable. So that's the way I see it as far as Christian and Adam Copeland. I wouldn't be surprised either way, but I think it's going to be a fucking finish. I'll take Christian Cage. We go on to the Continental Classic Finals. For the Continental Crown, the blue division against the orange division, Jon Moxley and Mad King Eddie Kingston. I talked about it on the Go Home show on the last episode here. I just put it up. I talked about the history between these two, and I talked about their differing styles and where they are now. And Eddie Kingston telling his story from Japan, so on and so forth, to his whole career as a bum, a tomato can, a ham and egger, a jobber, whatever you want to call him, overcoming all the odds. A Hispanic Rocky Balboa. How about that? And Moxley, and how he's the hardcore and carried this company and basically was the best in the tournament. Now, they give a lot to Moxley, Tony Khan. He didn't need to win the Triple Crown against Swerve and Jay White. Jay White's losing some of his luster. Just my opinion. He's been performing in the ring, but losing some of his luster. No Bullet Club Gold. No rock hard Juice Robinson, which I think really made the team and the group. Just my opinion. He really grew on me. I believe Mox didn't need that triple threat. Could have went to Strickland. He's the hotter star. Or Jay White, who you were trying to make into the main eventer with MJF just last month. Am I right? I'm just asking the question. Leave a comment. Share this out. Subscribe. Do something. So my opinion is I want Kingston. But I can't bring personal into this. If they give it to Moxley, I think it would be an injustice. But I'm not running AEW. I'm taking Eddie Kingston, the Mad King. And the Continental Classic, these men had some very solid, exciting bouts. We know the styles. Hard-hitting, physicality. Not a lot of high flying. Impact maneuvers. You'll see it. Going back and forth. I don't like the selling of the bitch slaps and this and that and the forearms and the chops. It is what it is. It's not your business, Chaos. It's no longer the business you were in, Big Daddy. I get it. I understand. So this ought to be one for the ages as far as physicality. I'm taking the Mad King and hope he takes it home. Just for tradition and for what he's trying to do. We go on to the finals. Well, not the finals. I just talked about the finals. The final match is what I meant. You guys are reading my mind. I had it on the brine. I had it on a template. MJF, who's going in injured, hasn't really grappled. We know what happened last night against Samoa Joe, who just turned on him. Cracked him with the fucking steel chair a couple times. Again, apologies. I know sometimes it loses the luster if you keep apologizing, but I do sincerely mean it. Hits him with the big Joe Buster, the Samoan Buster, whatever you want to call it. A devastating maneuver. He was there to be the protector, the sub for Adam Cole, baby. Boom. Which again, they should have pivoted off that story as soon as it happened and went on to something else when you found out he wasn't going to come back. And he was injured. So we know MJF went 2-on-1 last night as Joe sold the kayfabe injury backstage, just like MJF did weeks prior. Couldn't take the match. MJF insisted on defending the titles. He got pinned. He got pinned by the Devil's Brigade. Two masked men. Couldn't really tell physically what they were. One was bigger than the other. They've all these goons and geeks and dweebs and nerds and mouth breathers and neck beards. They've all been of different size, shape, and variety, including the devil himself or herself. Slender, feminine at one point, and then a little slender, smaller type guy. At one time, even a beefier, buffier guy. So the conjecture's there. They pinned MJF, won the Ring of Honor titles, and then Joe shows up out of nowhere, gimping and limping and bimping and slipping and sliding all the way down into the ring with a steel chair. There were 2 or 3 or 4 henchmen last night that won those titles. Foot on the ropes, doesn't matter. MJF got pinned. So Joe comes in to defend MJF and runs off the Devil's Brigade with the steel chair. And then, of course, the whole gimmick of the arena goes semi-dark. The devil mask image appears on the Tony Khan Tron, as we'll call it. And then, of course, the cryptic message, pleasure doing business with you. Now, most people, including me, I guess, I'll admit it, thought he was thanking the goons. But no, you could see it coming out of nowhere as MJF and Joe, an injured MJF and Joe, are looking up at the screen and Joe cracks him in the fucking back, in the back. I'm trying. And then proceeds to, as I said, decimate MJF. And that's how it goes. Holds up the title. We're off the air. Joe obviously in cahoots with the devil, the devil's brigade, the devil himself, and I rebuke you, Jesus, Jesus. So who knows? Joe's been working all along. Is he being paid off by Adam Cole? Is he being paid off by somebody else? The conjecture are starting to go. If they don't do a good reveal and it's something that's really fits the storyline, which will still be kind of disappointing leading up into this, and all the different twists and turns, and how they've ruined MJF trying to make him into the bromance in the face. Just my opinion, he could pull off almost anything. Perhaps the best in the business today. I'm just telling it like I see it, giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's been conjecture of everyone from Adam Cole to MJF himself to Britt Baker, Crimea River, Jack Perry, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Wardlow, Tony Khan. Could it be Omega? Let me look at what other people have said. Mike Bennett, Matt Taven, as part of the Goons. I mean, there were anywhere from 4, 5, 6, 12 guys. Is it all these different folks that I just mentioned off the top of my head? Who's going to be the devil? Who's playing the character, the persona? Could you see Samoa Joe losing Saturday night to MJF, an injured MJF who's only wrestled 13 matches this year in 2023? Let that sink in. Or Roman Reigns, probably around the same thing. And not to get on to WWE, we're talking World's End, AEW. Bruno in his first reign, almost 700 title defenses. Bob Backlund over 800, 900 title defenses. Hulk Hogan, 500 title defenses. And numerous others. And Roman, just because WWE, to make it relatable to championships, less than 60. MJF 12-0-1 in the calendar year. What are we doing here? No, chaos. It's not the same time, baby. I see people. It's not that you're wrestling. And times have changed. Tradition, history, respect, and honor don't change. So let that sink in before you start talking about eras going by, the golden era, the Monday Night Wars, Raw, Attitude, Aggression, territories, whatever the fuck it is you're going to say. And that's what I meant to say. So who's it going to be? Think about it. I'll give you a second. Enjoy the nature sounds. Unless there's going to be a fuck finish, which I got to believe, the Devil's Brigade, the devil, him or herself, it's going to be revealed. And it could be anything from a mid-disappointment to a major disappointment. Because I think no matter who it is, I think people are going to be let down and disappointed because of the way it was built up. I'm giving you my opinion. My experienced insider's opinion. And no, I don't have any connections to either group. I know some stars, I've met some people, but no one's ringing my phone. Nobody's inboxing me. I scare you? Well, I should have. It's a joke, man. Lighten up. So here's the dilemma. MJF, Samoa Joe, Devil's Brigade, the unmasking. Who is it? We'll see how it plays out on World's End. I would not be surprised to give him a break. And maybe, this is up for conjecture, just throwing it out there, maybe he didn't sign for the War of 2024. Maybe Joe wins. MJF doesn't re-sign or get extended, although they said he has. I don't have proof of that. You got to go by people's word on the dirt sheets, and you know what that means. Right? Okay. So if Joe was to win, I wouldn't be disappointed because MJF, and ever since they hooked up with Cole, they went everything from Kowloon's vignette to everything in between, has taken the luster off of MJF and what he was trying to do and his character. Just my opinion. So I wouldn't be disappointed if Joe won. I really wouldn't. I would not be disappointed if Samoa Joe beat MJF. I don't think MJF is going to pin Samoa Joe straight up. That's not happening. There's going to be a fuck finish. There has to be. The Devil's Brigade, the devil. There's going to be no finality winner here. There's going to be no pinfall. And I'll stick to that. That's what I'm going to say for the main event. So I'm kind of staying on the fence. And that's what I'm going to do with you guys. As far as that goes with Joe and Max. There can't be a clean finish or a pin. You know there can't be. It's Tony Khan. It's AEW. It's MJF. And everybody and their brother and their mother and their uncle. And like I said, and their sister's ass and everybody's involved. It'll be an interesting view, an interesting watch. I'll be back to give you a review on World's End. But I can't thank you fans enough for being here. I hope you enjoyed everything that I did. From the first part on Dynamite and the Continental Classic, the go-home show last night, to here today for World's End preview. I think you guys are going to enjoy it, and I think you're going to enjoy my coverage. So again, in all seriousness, much love and respect to you guys and gals. Let's keep this ball rolling. Let's get up to those 500,000 views, those 1,000 subscribers, and let's continue to hold it down, keep it real, and maintain on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel, with your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos. And I'll say that to say this because I tell it like it is. You know the rest. Let's say it together. Don't you dare miss it.